Hello one and all, welcome to another instalment from the channel that is Jono's Graveyard Jaunts. If you are enjoying the content of the channel so far, can I please ask you to like and subscribe to the channel and to add a comment in the comment section below. For today's video, I'm once again at the amazing Walford Road Cemetery on the outskirts of the city of Leicester, which is the final resting place of the person who features in today's video. Now, the person who is the topic of today's video is a lady by the name of Mary Royce, who became Leicester's first ever female doctor. In today's video, I shall visit the site of the Royce Institute in Leicester on Crane Street. That's a blue plaque outside to commemorate the life of Mary Royce. And this was founded by Mary as both a religious and an educational institution, but sadly had to finally close its doors in 2020. I shall also visit the site in Leicester where the Leicester Workhouse used to be and add some old photographs showing how the original building used to look. The Leicester Workhouse was where Mary Royce was sadly to lose her life at the tender age of just 47 years old after treating a patient and contracting an infection that was subsequently to end her life as a result. And sadly, all that remains of the Leicester Workhouse today are just the gates with the original great gate posts. And this was incidentally where Joseph Merrick, i.e. the Elephant Man, worked for 4 years and entered the gates at the tender age of 17 years old in 1879. I did a video on Joseph Merrick, who was actually born on Lee Street in the city of Leicester. Now, Joseph's mother, Mary Jane Merrick, is buried here at Walford Road Cemetery, and I shall add a link to the video in the description in case you may want to view it. And finally, I shall visit the final resting place of Mary Royce here at Walford Road Cemetery. Mary Royce was the daughter of a leather merchant in Leicester, and Mary answered a plea for help from the minister of the Congregational Chapel in Lower Gate to set up a Sunday school for working class children in a deprived area of Leicester known as Sanby Gate. Now, Mary Royce's objective was to educate kids from impoverished background, and this commitment later extended to her starting evening classes during the week. And the classes in turn flourished, and after several moves were established in 1879, Mary decided to build a purpose-built building located in an area called Lower Churchgate in Leicester, and this was all at Mary's own expense. Mary remained deeply committed to these classes despite all the other pressures which she experienced, as she was determined to train as a doctor, an opportunity only newly opened to women. Now, despite her natural diffidence and appalling exam nerves, Mary struggled through her training in London, always returning to Leicester at weekends to teach her classes. And on finally graduating as a doctor in 1890, aged 43, Mary returned to Leicester and was the first woman to establish a practice there, operating surgery at her own home from cottages next to her institute. We're actually on Crane Street in the city of Leicester, and this was the Royce Institute that was founded, built by Mary Royce, and as you can see there, it says the Royce Institute 1969. So Mary very graciously opened this to try and help other people whilst also studying and training to be a doctor. It sadly had to close its doors in 2020, but the building, as you can see, still exists to this present day. In April 1892, Mary was elected as a Poor Law Guardian, and it was whilst visiting a patient at the Leicester Workhouse that she contracted an infection which was to result in her death in October of 1892 at the tender age of 47 years old. Now, the poor laws themselves were introduced in the UK in 1834 to ensure all people were housed in workhouses, clothed and fed. A poor law guardian oversaw this process, and as a result of her death, guardians were no longer permitted to visit the workhouse or cottage homes during outbreaks of infectious diseases in the town. And in 1933, Isabel Ellis, remembering Mary with great affection, wrote, and I quote, "Now that Leicester supports a dozen women doctors, the efforts of the pioneers may seem dusty and undistinguished, but bachelor girls of today can accomplish with exhilaration what cost their great aunt much prayer and many tears. No longer confined to bachelor girls in order to pursue a career, women of today owe Mary and those like her a very great debt.
This is the entrance to the original Leicester workhouse, and this was where Mary Royce contracted an infection dealing with one of the residents, and she was to subsequently die from it at the age of 47. So these gates are not original, but the fence posts are, and I will put some pictures up so you can see what the workhouse itself looked like. And this is obviously where John Merrick, or Joseph Merrick, the Elephant Man, spent 4 years of his life from the ages of 17 before he moved to London. So a real place of misery.
Larger numbers of people attended Mary's funeral at Gate Chapel in the city of Leicester, and her fellow poor law guardian Charlotte Ellis pointed out that her friend had sacrificed her life for others, whilst Fanny Follogar explained, and I quote, "Few had an idea what her work was because she would never allow it to be noticed in the newspaper or spoken about." So Mary Royce was clearly a very driven, focused and selfless individual, who in turn had great compassion for the poor and the downtrodden, and paid the ultimate sacrifice in attending to another person's health at the Leicester workhouse, where she contracted an infection that was ultimately to cost Mary her life.
Here we're at Welford Cemetery on the outskirts of the city of Leicester, and the flat tombstone on the right hand side, top right hand corner, is Mary Royce's. So we'll go and read that in a minute, but this is the actual statue itself, which is quite grand, so I thought I'd show you it. So Mary Royce, as I say, is top right hand corner, and we'll go and read that now. Royce family plot, and here's Mary, and if we just read what the inscription says: Mary Royce, who crossed the bar October the 30th, 1892, in the 47th year of her age. And I can't read that last line. Rest in peace, Mary. Thank you for all of your sacrifice and hard work. God bless.
And that concludes today's video, guys. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and add a comment in the comment section below.